Welcome to the next episode of Guess Your Productivity Bottleneck in 3 questions or less. Today's guest is Scott Sapita, who is the GM and owner of BaseTek. Thank you, Scott, for joining us.
Glad to be here.
I'm so excited. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. There may be follow-up questions along the way, so those of you counting at home, don't hold that against me. We're going to see if we can dig into whatever it is that might be holding Scott back from getting everything he wants to get done in the day. So tell me, Scott, what do you feel is what's happening right now that you're not getting it all done?
Being pulled in too many different directions, different priorities, and also the fact that I work in 2 different locations makes it somewhat of a struggle with different team members.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about feeling like you're pulled in different directions. That's a follow-up question for those of you counting.
Between customer requirements, because I service customers, trying to focus and grow and spend time on the business, the things that I want to do as far as growing and managing the business always take a backseat to the current customer needs and things that pop up in a given day. So I'll have good plans, but I get sidetracked so quickly, and I have trouble getting back on those tasks.
Okay. And what is your best and highest use at the company, or your zone of genius? Like, what is it that truly only you can do?
Oh, that's a tough question. Long-term strategy, growth, productivity, profitability challenges, and growth, and things from a real high-end level. The issue with us is that we have a lot of people that can do a lot of different things. So maybe that's part of the issue, is that we possibly don't delegate tasks well enough. But it seems like I get sucked into the day-to-day stuff way too more frequently than I'd like.
Okay. And how much of the time each day do you feel that you're spending on tasks that don't fall into that zone of genius, highest use of your time?
Probably 70%.
Okay. All right. So this will come to no shock to you, but your bottleneck is to offload those tasks that truly are not of your best and highest use. And so if we think that through, it seems easy to say that. And so it's more of a taking that step back and looking very systematically at what are the pieces that are coming in that you're saying yes to, and who could say yes instead. Because it's easy for me to say, no, look, Scott, here's the deal. You're the owner and GM. You need to do owner and GM stuff. It's another thing to look at, okay, how do you implement that? And in your case, based on a conversation we had a year ago around fires and things like that, I think it's going back and revisiting what specifically is pulling you away and who else has the skill set to handle it, and then creating the structure to move it from your plate to theirs. Does that make sense?
Right. It does.
Yeah.
It does. And a part of that is my ability to take a step back and let things happen a little bit slower. So there are other people, Lisa, that could do the work. There's no doubt. But I guess my feeling is I'm impatient. I want to make sure we get those opportunities and we succeed.
Yeah. And so I think there's an opportunity to not look at as either or, black, white, you, not them, but more of a, maybe even a you support them in the beginning stage as you're building that bridge to start to pull yourself back a little bit more and back into your zone of genius, your place.
Right.
Because obviously there's an urgency. Absolutely. And you have great people who work with you, and they have great skill sets. And so there's that piece. So how do you feel? Do you feel we identified the bottleneck?
Oh yeah, I think we identified it. I think you hit it. The question is, how do I get through it? That's the big issue, because it's easier
Exactly.
said than done.
Right. Exactly. And I think the way through is one, what is that? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It
Right.
isn't flipping the switch today
Yeah.
and saying, that's it. I'm going back to doing just the things that only I can do. But it's one task, one person with support. And then the next task with that person with support.